In the headlines, the Reparations Committee renews the call for Black history to be taught in schools. DAIC President wants migration policy for Dominica. And Dominica being commended for aligning itself with the Beijing Declaration, a global agenda for gender equality. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better. A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Dominica Reparations Committee has renewed the call for Black history to be taught in schools. Julian Morris tells us more.
Over the years, calls have been made for adjustments to the school curriculum to include a wider spectrum of history topics. Advocates argue that Black history will broaden the mindset of the youth and give them a better perspective on historical events. Chairman of the Dominica Reparations Committee, Dr. Damian Dublin, says local history is also integral to the teaching of Black history.
One thing I would like to see too is we think Black history should be taught in the schools. Very important. We have been advocating for that, and we're hoping that systems can be put in place because we have all the information available. We have the people who have done things. We have the what we call the CAPE. They have established. They have a dictionary. They have proverbs. So the base is there. It's a matter of we as a nation embracing that, giving support to it. We see the work of what we're doing to promote this concept.
Dr. Dublin has also commended the move to teach the Creole language in schools and says Kalinago history is not to be forgotten as the native people have played a key role in Dominica's history.
The Creole language should be the Africa history and also Kalinago history and language should be taught in the schools because you have to develop your language, whatever means of communication you have. And what we're calling for is for people to, the information is there, just asking people to just research, just Google, find out about, because you'll be surprised there's so many inventions that are credited to Black people and we don't know. All we're asking people is, the information is out there, just read up on your, your heroes, and all that will help you to find out your history, know yourself, and it could help guide in terms of making your way of life.
Special recognition is placed on the significance and contribution of Black history through the recognition of Black History Month. This is celebrated in February and is an annual observance originating in the United States, where it is also known as African American History Month.
In other top stories, Dominica being commended for taking steps to align itself with the 25-year-old Beijing Declaration. 2020 marks the 25th year of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which Dominica signed on to in 1995. This declaration sets the global agenda for gender equality.
Dominica has made significant progress towards the achievement of gender equality, and I will highlight just two. The Sexual Offences Act was amended in 1998 with sensitivity to the girl child, and in 2016 it was amended again and now criminalizes marital rape, ensures harsher sentences for perpetrators of sexual violence, and enforces mandatory reporting of suspected abuse of minors. 2, education and awareness programs were facilitated by government and non-government organizations through various outreach mechanisms with a focus on providing information relevant to the law and community education on various mediums to build awareness and empower women to address their personal circumstances.
Acting Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Melissa Morgan, who was speaking on behalf of the Minister for Gender Affairs, Dr. Addis King, during the 10th Phenomenal Women Symposium, says women's role in all spheres of society has grown over the years.
Over the past 10 years, there have been a significant increase in gender-responsive civil society groups led by women. Dominican women have shown utmost resilience and strength. Let's think back post-Hurricane Maria. Women were one of the first ones selling fresh produce in the market. I am sure you can think of women in your communities which assisted greatly in the rebuilding process. Just last month, we hosted an election. 31% of the candidates nominated to contest the elections were women.
Despite the improvements in attitudes towards women and new opportunities available to them, there are still many challenges confronting women today.
We still cannot forget women face significant challenges and barriers over their lifetime simply because they are women. Women continue to be the majority of victims of domestic violence. Women continue to be the ones on the front line of climate change. Working women continue to face the glass ceiling. Women who have taken on most of the caring responsibilities in their home find themselves with little to no pensions at an older age. And research for the updated gender policy revealed that while women live longer than men, they are more likely to suffer from stress, depression, due to efforts to balance work life and family life.
In more developments, a 3-day civil society national stakeholder workshop, which ended here on Wednesday, is a significant step towards Dominica accessing funding under the Green Climate Fund. The workshop, held under the UN's Green Climate Fund Readiness Project, is a significant step by government and civil society to move forward with the SDGs.
We have two major initiatives at the government level. We're pushing for environment legislation, that's one, and also the Climate Change Trust Fund. These are crucial. And these are things that have been sat upon, that have been researched, that have been part and parcel of conversations like these. And we have not been able to progressively move forward with those. The government and the ministry which I lead, we are going to take on these initiatives very seriously. We have to have a legacy. We have to have a legacy. We have to have a legacy. The very same way Europe had a legacy of forts and slavery, etc. in the Caribbean, we have to have a legacy of our own after we leave this. Young people like myself normally blame the forefathers, my father. Now we have an opportunity to impact the next generation.
The minister says government and civil society collaboration is critical in the process towards building climate resilience.
The work of civil society is important because in any democracy, in any jurisdiction, government has a hand to play in its part in any initiative. But also, the government also has the responsibility to listen to and to have civil society participate. And I'm very happy to be here. I feel like I'm infringing on civil society's interaction and conversation. But I'm happy to be here because the government is an equal partner in all of this. The government is an equal partner because government represents a population and civil society represents a significant part of that population. So it's important that we move ahead with our environmental department, our legislature, and also to ensure that the trust fund is set. And we have models. I have found out that the legislature that dictate the works happening now in Antigua will work done in Dominica. We have not run with it in Dominica. Antigua have taken that legislation and NAC agencies, and they are now sourcing fundings on our behalf. So, as a student of history, I understand that. But I'm also mindful that I will not, as the minister, go into that conversation about who was wrong, who was right 20 years ago. I have shut that door. I'm part of a progressive ministry that is moving forward.
Workshop participants would have enhanced their capacity to write proposals and design projects. They would also be better informed now on the Global Climate Fund process, as well as funding sources and how to access them. A climate resilience action plan was another expected outcome of the three-day exercise. On to health matters. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. The Honorable Irvin McIntyre says Dominicans should be safe from the coronavirus with the rollout of his ministry's action plan revealed during a press conference on Wednesday. Dr. McIntyre says the Ministry of Health is on top of its game as it is just activating plans which are already in place.
I think we have put a very nice plan into place, and I think we should all be safe with regards to the 2019 novel coronavirus. The Ministry of Health has taken every step, both here and also considering our students in China, and taking into account the short space of time that people can travel from one area to another. We have put all the measures in place, and all of these are being done with guidelines from WHO, PAHO, CAFA, and the Center for Disease Control. So it's meant to, let alone to have to keep the public safe, is also to alleviate the stress and the tensions and the anxiety of persons at home. Some may be parents, some may be friends, relatives, because we all know someone who has a student or friend in China. And so it's not just about alleviating the anxiety and distress. It's also about just having the public safe. As regards to how confident our health system can handle it, I think we're pretty much confident. We have identified areas at all our ports of entry. We have identified areas at the hospital here. Granted, we have challenges building a new hospital on our old hospital site. But in spite of all of this, we have been able to identify areas for isolation, for screening, and we're pretty much confident, yes, we can handle this.
The health minister says the public's role in staying free of the virus is quite simple.
It's very simple measures sometimes we have to put in place. It's all about hand hygiene, soap and water, or even if you use a sanitizer, preferably an alcohol-based sanitizer. It's all about respiratory etiquette. These are little things that you and I can do. The system plays its part, but we have to also play our part. So respiratory etiquette as to how we sneeze and how we cough in the public, how we keep our hands clean, and how we just share information with each other, because knowledge is power. If you can let everyone know how to handle this, then it makes the job of the system much easier. It's a collaboration, it's a partnership. The public plays its part and the Ministry of Health plays its part. So if we can all play our part, I think we can definitely have the situation under control, as we've done so far. We're well informed, and we'll keep updating you as time goes along, because we keep getting information from the international agencies, and as we get the information, we'll transmit them to you.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better. A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Welcome back. President of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce wants to see a migration policy put in place for the country. Here is Julian Morris with that story.
DAIC President Kenny Green says the economic impact of immigrants is seen in all spheres of society, though some are more visible than others. Green is of the view that a policy will help position the country to strengthen existing weaknesses and capitalize on opportunities which having a migrant population presents.
The truth is, though, we need migrant policy. We've not seen any inward migration policy that caters for our weaknesses, that caters to some of the threats that exist, and to look at the opportunities. And so if you look again at things like our farm labor issue, we have a farm labor issue in Dominica. Most farmers will talk to it. Most of us in the country who understand the dynamics of trying to be a farming entrepreneur know what it's like.
Speaking to the issue affecting farmers and farm laborers, Mr. Green pointed out that the migrant population is important in maintaining Dominica's food security.
Right now, the average rate for unskilled labor in Dominica has gone up, yet the farmers still cannot get people who have not even gone through a high school education, cannot get them to accept, between $300 or $400 a week in many cases, cash in hand. And that's a difficult thing because then you need labor to be able to produce the very things that we eat. So it has a food security repercussion for us.
In the wider scope of things, the migrant population heavily impacts the private sector.
In terms of the rest of the economy, quite frankly, the private sector depends on consumption. Restaurants, supermarkets, even entertainment venues. You don't look at a fete, for example, where you're looking at, say, the World Creole Music Festival and other venues, and say to yourself, let me see how many of these people are Dominican. No, we're looking at the economic impact from a generic point of view. So the amount of people here and also how many people leave has a serious impact on our economy.
And the University of the West Indies is working closely with the Global Institute of Software Technology and other relevant authorities in China to ensure the safety and well-being of students and staff during the coronavirus outbreak. The UE says it is also engaging global precautionary measures as well as the positions adopted by its stakeholder governments in relation to travel advisories and screening protocols. The UE has an administrative presence and 36 students enrolled in a BSc software engineering program at UE China Institute of Information Technology. The university says at this time of inter-semester break, 28 students and one administrator are currently in Suzhou, China. There is continuous on-site support on the campus. Medical and screening protocols have also been established. The university is also collaborating with regional entities and agencies, including the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, CARICOM Secretariat, Ministries of Health and Foreign Affairs, and others in the Regional Management and Response Strategy. To end the news, the headlines again. The Reparations Committee renews the call for Black history to be taught in schools. DAIC President wants migration policy for Dominica. And Dominica being commended for aligning itself with the Beijing Declaration, a global agenda for gender equality. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.